I need another cheeseburger.
He's middle management of men, Wesley Fox, a tamer of building codes and fires, Alan Giannis, and he delivers for America, Andrew Murr. Together, they are the Middle Class Holes.
All right, guys, I want to run something by you. You know that I get normally and regularly agitated by norms in social media. And I don't know necessarily. I don't know if this is something that's up there with the food pictures or the gender reveals of the world, or just kind of general milestone tracking of amongst someone's life. But, and I know this is never going to stop. So no matter how much I complain, it's not going to change anything. And at 42 years old, most of the people that I follow on social media are around my age, albeit maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger. But this week I was inundated, absolutely flooded, just jam-packed capacity. Met my quota and then some of elementary and middle school graduations. Is this to be celebrated? I mean, yeah.
It's just like their fake diplomas, their sheets of paper the teachers printed out. Yeah. We celebrate mediocrity in America now, Wes. That's what we do. We don't celebrate greatness. We're trying to make it great again, right, Alan?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. I agree. Like middle school, maybe, because that's at least kind of like a major life change. You're going to high school, but no, elementary school's stupid. I think the kindergarten one's even stupider. Like when they're like kindergarten graduation, it's like shut the fuck up.
Dude, and you got to go even further than that, because now they do a preschool graduation. Oh, welcome to real school, which is kindergarten, which isn't real school because it's kindergarten, because it's not even first fucking grade. It's like pre-first grade. They got preschool, pre-K, kindergarten. Then they start their journey into a mediocrity of elementary school, and then they I mean, I will say, it's not fair for you to say that middle school to high school is one thing, because it's a big change going from elementary school to middle school too, though, because like you're gonna go to middle school. You're gonna become a teenager there. All the.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like for you guys, did you change buildings from elementary to middle school?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I did not.
And then
I was in the same building.
They merge elementary schools, like 4 different elementary schools flow into one.
Depending on where you go too.
Into one middle school.
Yeah.
God, yeah, that makes sense.
Which is odd, because you would think, well, I guess there's less middle schools. I guess they're bigger buildings, so there's less middle schools and less high schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they want you to travel less when you're a young lad, and then once you get a little bit older, you don't need as much sleep. You can travel a little bit further. Now, for me, I walked 1 block, and then the transition to middle school was I walked 3 blocks. So it was big. It was a big deal. Large steps, if you will.
That's good.
But I just like. Maybe I'm only thinking through my own lens, which I do often. It's just I never thought of these things as like real accomplishments. I thought high school was a joke. I thought getting out of high school was an absolute just like haha, like a smart monkey could have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so I feel like the reason it was made a big deal to like our generation is because when our parents went, it was still like 50-50. Like there were still people who failed. Like they still didn't care. Like you failed. Teachers still threw chalk at kids and fucking erasers and things to get their attention. The principal could still paddle the piss out of kids when our parents were in all the way through high school. We had a kid. I remember I was one of the last elementary schools that allowed paddling. If your parents signed off for corporal punishment. Yeah, I don't remember the kid's name. I just remember we called him Georgie Porgy. And Georgie Porgy was the last holdout. Georgie Porgy's parents signed that fucking slip, so they beat him. And I remember Georgie Porgy getting beat in the fucking hallway, and we all had to watch. It was sadistic.
Yeah.
And
this is thinking about, okay, so Dewey was in that same period where the parents had to sign a waiver, and then 3 years later, but it didn't exist anymore. It wasn't an option. And I remember like later on, I was like, damn, that's like, I mean, that's a milestone in grade school, I guess in the logistics of things. But I said something like, did you sign the waiver for Dewey? My mom said, No, we said no. We probably thought he would have enjoyed it. I was like, oh, that's gross. enjoyed getting paddled. But yeah, my dad, and we'll get back to the graduation thing here in a second, but my dad got in trouble, and I don't remember what he did in high school. And the principal said, you got 3 options. I can paddle you, I can tell your parents, or you can clean out the urinals. And he said, well, you're not telling my parents and you're not paddling me, so I'll take the urinals. Not realizing these were the ones that were like chest high that went all the way to the ground.
My favorite. I love
Yeah.
those things.
And he said it was just 5 of them, just absolutely littered with toilet paper and cigarette butts and piss. And he looked at him, he's like, can I get some gloves? And the principal was like, nope. Mm-mm. So bare fucking handed grabbed out piss clogged toilets of paper towels and cigarette butts. Yeah. I was like, was it worth it? And he was like, yeah, 100%. I didn't want my parents would have killed me.
So he didn't want to get beat. He didn't want to get beat worse at home, and so he went with, some kind of staph infection and potentially like the MRSA virus or something. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's why you celebrated graduating from high school back then, because it was a big deal to get out from under the thumb of such authoritarianism. Now, dude, they have fucking yoga rooms. They have chill out rooms. Like, you don't get sent to the principal anymore. You get sent to basically a makeshift child's version of a break room where they smash plates and things, but instead they've got pillows they can punch, and they can lay down in a beanbag chair until their little blood pressures go back to normal. And you got to graduate from that to go to middle school. No, I agree with you. Look, I got one next year. William hit 5th grade next year. After that, I'm not going to tell you that you're not going to see pictures of it. It's going to happen. It's not going to be my doing. It's going to be Maria's doing. But my name's going to be attached to it. And I'm going to pre-apologize to you. And I'm going to tell him great job, and he's probably going to get a fucking Nintendo game out of it or something. But I don't hang my hat on there and say, I endorse this. It will not get an endorsement.
I guess I tried really hard these past 2 weeks, because obviously friends now live all over the state and all over the country. People's school years end. Students' school year ends at different times. I get it, but it was like the last 3 weeks. It was nothing but that. Like, well, my little princess is growing up. Look at her, and I was like, I want to sympathize with a parent being proud of a child's accomplishment, but at the same time, I'm like, 5th grade is a fucking joke.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say it's less about being proud of your child's accomplishment and more about all the other fucking parents are doing this shit, and your kid's going to be left out if you don't celebrate their mediocrity. And if you don't, they're going to be the odd kid, and you never want your kid to be the weird kid. So you have to do it. You're pigeonholed. And Alan, did you go to like private schools like your entire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did you guys celebrate any of that shit?
What? I don't remember in elementary school when there wasn't any like ceremonious, like, because we were literally moving from one side of the building to the other side of the building. So like, I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, maybe there was. I don't recall anything. And then middle school, there was like fanfare and whatnot. But also, I think that was a little bit of being with like, I would say largely over like what we had like 2 full classes with like 30-ish kids in each class. So like I would say of those like 60 kids, probably 45 of them were together from kindergarten through 8th grade. You know what I mean? So like, that felt more like significant. And then we were leaving and going to high schools and all different high schools, because most of us went to private schools. So, like, most of the girls went to Seton Keogh or Mount DeSales, so those are all girls' schools. Most of the guys went to all boys' schools. Like, there was a handful of kids that went to public school. And then, that was about it. But it wasn't like, I don't think it was anything fucking crazy. I think we still got, paper certificate or whatever. It was like, you graduated from this thing that we don't even have a legal document for.
They didn't play the Macho Man theme for you guys? Man.
No, I don't think. No, actually, I was. So 8th grade was the year 2000, so it was Vitamin C, the graduation song. Which fucking, it was, Jesus Christ. Yeah. It was from 8th grade though, so it wasn't even it wasn't really significant. It felt like that was for people who were doing much more important things than I was doing.
Yeah, and by the way, I remember 5th grade. Like, I do remember 5th grade, and I do remember we had to learn some bunk ass fucking Whitney Houston song. Not even a top hit, like a deep cut off an album. Which, if you gave me enough time, I'd fucking remember the words because it's so goddamn traumatic. I had to stand in front of the whole fucking school and just sing this stupid Whitney Houston song that we practiced for like a month. I thought you're celebrating me. Why am I celebrating me to you? No, you shower me with affection and love or something. Jesus Christ.
You serenade me. We had a graduation in elementary school, and it was 2 students and a teacher sang Hero by Whitney Houston. And the students got it mixed up, and they said they did the same verse back to back. And everyone was kind of like, oh, these idiots. They can't even get this right. They're going to 6th grade? Jesus. Dummies.
Couldn't even be the good Hero song. I need a hero.
Yeah, God, that would have been hot. Get some glitter, some streamers. Yeah, right.
Get a nice, fine 32-year-old teaching assistant up there. Here you go.
That's right. Someone to break through. Yeah. Middle classers, everyone. Morale and Foxman. Yeah. Again, I don't necessarily know if it's frustration, but it just seemed like it was like 75% of a Facebook feed. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need to get off that old bunk ass social media.
Well, also probably what it is too is like you're of an age, right?
Yeah.
Like you're of an age where like all of your buddies and your like acquaintances and your college pals and shit, like they have 10 to 13-year-olds, and so they're just doing this thing. Like, what'd you say, next year for William? Fucking
yeah.
You see what I mean? It's gonna be the same thing next year, and it's gonna be the same year after that. Then in like 4 more years, you're gonna get a wave of high schools, and you're gonna be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking,
I figure I gotta.
That's what we live with.
I got a clean 15 years of this in early June to deal with.
Yeah. Yep. Fucking college. But then think of it this way though: high school ones, we're gonna have some bangers. Like there's gonna be some keggers, fucking in the backyard with some old guys playing some yacht rock, fucking drinking a nice keg too, not fucking garbage. Not no Keystone Light.
Yeah,
you know
that is the difference between like our generation's graduation parties and what our I had a dry graduation party. I ditched my own graduation party to go to somebody else's graduation party because I knew they had a keg. I think there's kegs at all of them now. Like it's not even for the kids; it's for the parents. But it's of course, the kids are dipping in.
Yeah. Well, I went to one 2 years ago. One of Sarah's friends' daughters who graduated, and they had a keg. Oh, it was lovely. I got loaded. Absolutely, just fucking slobber knocked. There's something about, I don't know what it is. There's just something about a keg in a backyard or in the basement of a home. It really, really turns up into gear on a couple people that I know. It's nice. I one of the, not the person who was celebrating the graduation, but one of her best friends was like, oh, blah, 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 she's going to Frostburg. I was like, oh, and then at that point I was attuned. I was like, oh boy, let me tell you what you're in for. Whoa, hey.
Absolutely none of what fucking West doled out is what she's in for. That place is not the same.
Yeah. Well, according to word of mouth, game of telephone, apparently their little daughter was like every Friday and Saturday night was at keg parties. So,
I mean, they still exist. They're just low key. They aren't fucking the 300-person ragers we used to have.
That's true. That is a bygone era. Oh, God bless you. So this brings me to another, actually 2 articles that Murr and I dug up. First of which has to do, both of these revolve around Gen Zers. What's Gen Z's 98 to 2011, or am I right on that?
I don't know.
What are you, Alan?
Alan's a millennial.
Oh, you are a millennial.
Firmly a millennial.
Yeah. I don't know anymore. It's weird because as you age, you just what you. I don't even know what I am.
It's basically just chunks of 10 to 15 years, roughly.
Yeah.
That's it.
millennials are categorized were 81 to 97. Is what I the standard.
97 to 2012 is Gen Z, according to Google's AI.
Okay. So you still have a chunk of those who aren't of drinking age. Either way, the big hubbub in this article had to do with Gen Zers at the bar closing out their tab right away. So they go up, they order 4 drinks, 5 drinks, or a round of shots or whatever. They're like, yeah, I'll close that out. And then come back up and do it again. And bartenders kind of being pissy about it. Yeah. I mean,
probably a fuck ton of receipts.
Yeah. Oh, and time was the big determining factor. If I know I'm going to be at a place more than an hour, I leave it open.
I open the tab, yeah.
And now, more or less, if you leave, they just throw 20 on there, 20%.
You would think. I mean, I would almost feel like in this era, all bars should have an iPad order your own drink kiosk, and the bartender brings it out, just brings it to whatever kiosk you fucking ordered it from. I just save everybody the headache. You can close it or not close it. Give as you go. But look, man, I don't fault anybody for whatever purchasing power they feel like they're in control of. If you want to close your tab out immediately because you think, well, maybe we'll just have a drink and leave, that's fine too. Because one of the excuses that one of those Zers gave was, well, if the bar gets too packed, I just want to be able to turn around and leave, because if I have to then weasel my way up to the bar to then ask the bartender, hey, you know that tab I opened like a half an hour ago that I'm now have to bother you with? You're still going to have to go close it out. So it's better to close it out while you're not busy and you're dealing with me than, who are you? What? What's your name?
Yeah.
Last name?
Instead
Card?
of fucking yelling your last name that isn't said like it's spelled at some stranger. Fucking
Giannis.
over.
With a Y? No, asshole. Yeah.
Yep.
I get that, because, like, if it's crowded, it's going to take, up to 20 minutes. You're sitting there kind of, like, patiently kind of throwing your finger up, hey, I just want to close my tab out. And one of the things they mentioned was someone being cognizant of how much they spend. If I buy a round of drinks or shots and I get the tab there, then I know what I spent. Because I was in the situation when I was teaching high school and I was making about $31,000 a year, bought shots, and then drinks. Yeah, good money. In 2007, I was really setting the world on fire. But when I bought the shots, the bartender then assumed, like, he's buying drinks for these people. So towards the end of the night, I get a bar tab that's like about $160, which was sticker shock. It was like poopy pants sticker shock. Like, oh, are you kidding? And I tried to be like, who ordered these drinks? Oh, your friends did. I was like, they had their tabs. And like, no, but you said you're getting these. And I was like, yeah, those shots 4 hours ago. And like, well, sorry, man. Like, do you want us to transfer these? And they had all since left. And I was like, no, I'll pay for it. But now I'm in the hole. I'd like to report a stolen debit card.
I know. That's just bad bartending all around.
That's what
right.
I feel like that
You're
was.
right.
But no, that was the reason I was going to say is like, just kind of more conscious. Or if you're just trying, I think it would limit your drink. Like if you're not trying to get fucking blacked out, you know what I mean? Everything takes a little longer. Just the act of being more conscious of like, okay, I've had 2 drinks. I've had 3 drinks. Like, there's, I think, a few decent reasons for doing it. Also, these kids are probably broke as fuck. Like, we were broke. Fucking, they got to be broke. You know what I mean?
I don't have any. This is. There's no facts to back this up. I just don't think Gen Zers drink as much.
I don't think they do either.
Oh no, that's an absolute fact.
Is that okay?
Like, they don't. Our generation was fucking a bunch of drunks. Like and if you see it on TikTok too, there's a couple guys who like people like to make like fun of the generations right now, like all kind of melding together, like Gen X, Boomers, fucking, and the running one is like Gen Z looking at millennials and like, why the fuck are you drinking? And it's like, because we're fucking drinking, man. What do you mean? It's baby shower. It's baby shower. We're drinking. Like, it's like, it's all of these scenarios. And Gen Z's like, why? And we're like, because we're fucking drinking. What do you mean? It's a celebration. We're drinking. Like, we drink a lot. They look after themselves a little bit more.
Well,
we're a little harder on ourselves.
I think too, this generation doesn't necessarily. I mean, the stories of us, traveling around to find, little bags of herb are legendary now. Yeah, these guys have no clue. It's legal in most states.
That's also true.
Cops are looking the other way in the states. It isn't legal, and So that's more prevalent. They get that. The
Yeah.
oldest, the generation beyond me, like the older Xers and the Boomers, they're liquor drinkers, man. They go out. Bourbon companies are having a hard time because even my generation doesn't drink bourbon like the previous generation. The generation underneath me doesn't drink beer like my generation drinks beer. And that's why you got Shane Gillis pumping out Bud Lights so they can try to get these suckers, on the hops and barley because they're losing money hand over fist. But when it comes to economics, to each their own. This is one of those ones where I know we bitch about other generations a lot, but this is wise. Fuck you, bartender. That's a bad business model. I will say for me, though, like when we came out for your bachelor party, Wes, I was like, I'm not dealing with credit card slips, confusion,
Bring
open
cash.
tabs. I bring cash. Every drink is a $20 bill. I get my drink. I give my $2 tip. I walk away. I walk out of there with a knot of ones, dude. Like it took me like a month to spin my pocket down to size.
to filter those. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, if like it's almost like bitching about the rule that's in place. Now, I know restaurants and bars have the opportunity or the ability to make their own set of rules, okay? But if the rule is if someone wants to close out every time they get a drink, sorry. Like, I mean, that's just a matter of preference. I prefer to keep it open because because I know when I go to a place for more than an hour, I'm probably going to have 3 to 4 drinks. But if a bartender is complaining, either find a new line of work or make your bar owner or manager make it like you can't do that after one drink. Now, I don't know if that's legal. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I guess you could set a minimum. You know what I mean? But if you're buying a round of drinks, you pass a minimum.
You're past the
pretty
minimum,
easily.
yeah. Some of those places I do see like it is like what $20 or $15. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I also know there was an instance where at a bar I was at. Murray, you good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's just a weird angle now because I can't figure out where to put the camera. I'm staring I'm staring into the sky because I'm staring at you guys' faces.
You're looking like Stevie Wonder there. I was at a bar in Federal Hill where I was the center of a quasi-domestic dispute. And rather than do anything about it, I just left. And one of the females that I was with decided just by her and her friends bought drinks on my tab. And the bartender then got wise of it. And he's like, wait, Wes isn't even here. And then the next day it was like $124. And I was pretty fucking pissed about that motherfucker. I was like, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I know I was in the wrong with our relationship. I'm not going to go any further than that. But I did not deserve that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I also come from the generation where credit card machines, electronic, boop, 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 beep, beep, boop, 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 where the credit card machine actually dialed into a dial-up internet fucking, connection. I mean, our buddy Remy Joland, I signed that guy's name on a credit card slip hundreds of times between the years 2003 and 2005. Like, he was gone at a lot of points. And be like, let me close out my tab. What's your name? Remy Joland. There you go. So there's a lot of non-matching receipts that he could dispute from 20 years ago if you really wanted to. But I mean, before that it was the kankank, and they didn't do that. Bars were cash. So I think everybody's, I don't know. I still think that if McDonald's can put up a kiosk for ordering cheap sandwiches, they can put up a kiosk.
Bars could do the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Is cash going to be obsolete at places like this or that in the next, 5 or 10 years?
I think cash is going to be obsolete everywhere in the next 10 years.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all yeah.
I mean, even the resort we went to recently, they had a machine where you put your cash in, and it would give you a prepaid Visa credit card to use throughout the place because they didn't accept cash anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, all the breweries around here. I mean, I was at one a couple hours ago. It's all, card only, ball games, and actually any sporting event that I've been to, it's all card. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a conundrum. What are we going to do?
Whatever you want. I think that's the point. Whenever you're the customer, I think however you want to pay for something is how it gets paid for. And ain't nobody got a fucking... Nobody should have an opinion otherwise.
Yeah. I wonder if you can do like a, because this goes back to my point about like leaving a bar tab open. Have you guys ever done that?
Like for the night?
Like overnight?
Yeah,
Like
just
leave?
like
Yeah.
leave and they close it out and they give themselves 20%. I've been to
Yeah.
places where the sign says, "Hey, anything not closed is going to get an automatic 20%."
Yeah.
I've done it. I think it happened once to me, but no, I'm usually pretty good about closing them out. And I can remember going in like the next time. They're like, "Hey, you left your tab open." I gave myself however much. I was like, "Yeah, it's fine."
See, I think the compromise should be that then. Like, hey, you don't have to close it out yourself. You don't have to sign for it, but just leave it your own will, and then we'll close it out at the end of the night, and we'll give ourselves 20%.
And if that's what they want to do, just state that as the, hey, if you open a tab, it's automatic 20% tip when you close. And I think I would be so happy with that because I would love to just leave and not have to, especially in the middle. If you go to a real bar, like, and especially in a city where it's very hands off, you're lucky to get the bartender's attention. You know, you got to have the right hand signals, like your fucking third base coach. Yeah, I'd love to just be like, all right, we're out of here. And then it just automatically closes out and I don't have to think about it. That's the way to go. That's how they should honestly do it.
Yeah, I was at it was the 25th year after 36 Chambers Wu-Tang came out. I went to their concert down in DC, and it was an app. But the thing of it was the app got you a free beer, so it was advantageous for you to open the app to do that. But you could close the tab out on your app.
See, that's ingenious. Everything else is doing it. They can't check into a hotel room without a fucking phone, so we might as well.
Yeah, which actually reminds me of as I wear my rum ham shirt, It's Always Sunny episode where Dennis wants to have a free day and he has to open an app for everything. He has to open an app to get a tapioca drink. God. So the other article comes from Edu Birdie. Remember where the hell you dig these fucking things up,
Dude, wherever I fucking find them, all right?
Gotcha. So it has to do with remote working and sex lies. Key takeaways. Okay, 47% of Gen Zers say they're having more sex while working remotely with their flexible schedules and allowing for more intimate moments. Another one, reducing time with their partner and distribution with their work-life balance. 31% fear that returning to office would negatively impact their sex lives. However, 42% say that being around others helps improve their confidence, while 18% say spending time with other colleagues boosts their mood. What?
Jeez.
Yeah, and then convincing Gen Z to return to the office would require a more sex-positive approach, with 38% desiring private spaces for hookup and solo play during the workday. Okay, guys.
Wow.
Wait,
but
That's
listen.
a little crazy.
This isn't conjugal visits.
Can you? Can you read that number again? Can you read that percentage?
38.
38%. I mean, we're creeping up on that. Dude, 38% is like a good showing in a presidential race, for God's sake. I mean, that's really close. Because when you parse up the numbers, I bet 38% is probably the dominant number of everything that's going on in that building. Like, these guys don't. It's unfortunate. Again, this is society. These people are so used to growing up online that they've got their casual hookup life that happens where they click the name on the app. Hey, let's go get coffee in the middle of the day. I work from home. Oh, I've got a 20-minute meeting in 20 minutes. You want to come by my apartment? And that's how they're living their fucking sex lives.
I got a 20-minute meeting in 20 minutes. Do you want a 4-minute meeting? I can pencil you in.
And they're trying to say their compromise for coming back to another building that's not their home is that they can have sex in it.
Yeah. It is like, okay, for someone like myself who, when I entered the workforce and for the first 15 years, it was all on site. And then obviously COVID happened and things changed. And now I have a hybrid role where I can work from home whenever I want, but I do go in the office at a minimum 2 days, sometimes 3 days a week. I mean, on occasion, me and the wifey do have a good lunch break. Doesn't happen often, which would never have happened before. And I love it and I enjoy it. But I'm not going to say to my boss like, hey, man, I got to return 5 days a week. Look, I'm going to need you to turn one of these little solo conference rooms into a sex shop because I need to get my rocks off.
Okay, let me ask this, though. if there was a specialized room with, tissue paper everywhere, like,
Would you do that?
That sounds gross. That sounds worse.
right? I know. I'm just thinking. I mean, it's not like Foxy's going to show up with no gloves and clean up for you. So, I mean, you have your wife like come to the office, and it's like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
you can take a break."
That sounds so ridiculous. Like
Right?
your booty call shows up at your place of employment, and you go
Yes.
like, "Hey guys, gonna take a $5, probably 10, probably 5." Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's oh my god. Listen,
38% are on my side on this.
yeah, and this is not some bullshit workplace wellness, like questionnaire type thing. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where this generated from, but yeah, 38%. You're right. You're right. That's astronomical. Alan, I mean, you've migrated more towards back to office with your new place of employment. I mean, can you see those old buzzards fucking be like, oh yeah, you want to turn the old solo
No.
HR room into a bang shop? Sure, go by all means.
Absolutely not. We still use paperwork tickets, man. I went from fucking Siemens, like, hey, building AI, building AI, fucking, and all this shit to, yeah. I mean, I love it. Don't get it twisted, but no, there's no F Shack at the fucking office, unfortunately.
F Shack, no glory hole, nothing.
Nope. No glory hole, no nothing.
Yeah. And this was
crazy.
it was 2000 Gen Zers working from home in the romantic kills of sex lives. I mean, like, listen, I'm all about a sexual revolution of sorts, and whether or not that's happening now, I don't know. I feel like the internet has kind of dampened a lot of that, but 38% of these motherfuckers saying like, yeah, man, I want me a little hoopla pad.
Intelligence, of which you have none.
Obviously, we're dealing with the superior intelligence.
And now, Fun Fact Friday.
Let's get to it. Let's expand your minds with a brand new Fun Fact Friday brought to you by me. All right, the book is done. There's no more time warp. The time warp is gone. A brand new book of facts as at play, my friends. So let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Brought to you, of course, by our good friend, the Cuckster. Make sure you check out the Cuckster on both Instagram and the TikTok. It's Cuckster for life. Cuckster for life on TikTok and Instagram. Anything new the Cuckster's up to there, Wesley?
Yeah, the Cuckster is hunkering down for Memorial Day. He's going to get himself a grill by means of probably stealing it out of someone's backyard. Going to fire up some hickory smoke and nothing but sausages for the old Cuckster and the wife.
Oh, and maybe some red, white, and blue balls to set the mood.
That's right.
All right, well, let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you on a Friday. Did you know? In the early 1990s, Pepsi owned 17 submarines, a cruiser, a frigate, and a destroyer, all because of a deal with the Soviet Union in which they exchanged soda for military equipment.
When I tasted it, I always tasted communism. I knew it. I knew it tasted like a commie soda.
Makes sense. That's crazy. I did not know that. But
Wait,
when was this? When was this? What year? Does it say a year?
In the early 90s, so I mean, just after the fall of the Berlin Wall, fall of the Soviet Union.
They were hawking shit back then at that point. Like,
And here, Pepsi told us they didn't have a F-15 to give away. If
Yeah,
you got
well,
a billion fucking-
the Harrier
yeah.
jet. They didn't have a Harrier jet.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
they did.
Fine.
You could have parted ways with a U-boat or some bullshit. Fucking
Yeah, like if you had
two-person sub.
propositioned me with a U-boat instead of you were like, listen, we don't have a Harrier, but we got this U-boat. I'd be like, 1, where'd you get it? 2, yes, sign me up. Fucking hand me the deed.
Would you have learned Rusky to figure out all the dials and contraptions and stuff?
100%. Well, I probably would have tried to find like a Rusky to fucking pay him a couple fucking stolies or something, and be like, here you go, man, drive this thing around for me. Let's go on an adventure.
Pepsi had a fucking full navy and still lost the soda wars.
It's true.
Fucking pussies. That's what you get. 17 submarines, dude. Like, I didn't even know, like, the Soviet Union had 17 submarines to give away in exchange for soda.
So then, like, what happens? Like, does Pepsi then try to like how do they offload those? How do they extract the value? Like,
I feel like with the other ships, the cruiser, the frigate, and the destroyer, like maybe you can sell them as like yacht material or something. But submarines, I don't know how you offload randomly a submarine. I don't know. Maybe Uncle Sam's interested just to see what's on them. I don't know. How's that legal?
And those bad boys are probably like diesel powered. It's probably a fucking nightmare in that tin can. Like, it's not the luxury of a nice, quiet nuclear sub. You know what I mean? Like, no. Oh, Jesus Christ, that sounds awful.
Yeah. You ask how to offload this. I know a guy who has a couple scrap yards up in the depths of Cecil County. You know, he'd have gotten a freighter, an 18-wheeler with a flat back.
A couple subs on that junkyard.
Oh, a whole bunch of 6-inch and 12-inch subs, hundreds of them, thousands probably not.
6-inch and 12-inch subs. Yeah.
But what I'm curious about is what was like the decision-making factor into this. Like, I mean, why not? And everyone around the conference table is like, why not? We got a lot of income.
Well, not just, but who benefit? I mean, the Soviets got soda. Pepsi got a navy. I mean, I have to think they worked in conjunction with like the military or something. Like, let's get some of that shit off of them. Pepsi, what you got? I mean,
I guess so. They were just like, man, they need beverages so bad.
Well, then again, if you got, maybe that was part of Pepsi's strategy. They would just accept junk to get a niche in the market before Coca-Cola could move in, before some form of capitalism took over. So if you were able to offload all the soda drank in the Soviet Union, which never had soda before, American soda, was Pepsi, they would think Pepsi was the superior product to Coke because Coke hadn't got their footprint in there yet.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Fox, showing Aaron The Simpsons. They were like, listen, nobody even thinks we're a real fucking TV station. So we're just going to play cartoons, and people will see what happens. Like, look at them now.
We're going to do Al Bundy, then we're going to do Bart Simpson, and then we're going to do a whole slew of things that are going to last a season or two, tops.
And then we're going to fucking pump Chuck Woolery full of fucking crack cocaine and get him to host 3 game shows till midnight.
Yep, 100%.
Did you know? At U.S. President Andrew Jackson's funeral in 1845, his pet parrot had to be removed because it wouldn't stop swearing loudly.
Man, if I'm going to be laid to rest, I want my pet parrot. Fuck this! Fuck you! Kiss my ass!
Kiss
I'm
his
Uncle
ass.
Sam. Yeah.
I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. Fuck you too. That's awesome that Andrew Jackson had a cursing parrot. I mean, it just shows you that when we look back on history and think these men were like of mighty regal stature, no, they had parrots that told you to go fuck yourself and made fart noises at old ladies.
Alan, what do you think? Maybe it was like the parrot was the deciding factor in the Oval Office. It's this chief of staff and a bunch of other people like, I don't know. This is a tough one. I think I got to go with old Ralphie here. Alfie, what do you think?
I was going to say, I was waiting for what you were going to name him, honestly. Ralphie's all right. We'll take it. But no, probably. I mean, if I had a pet parrot and he cussed at people, I would make my decisions based on the parrot's mood. So, yeah, fuck it. Especially if I was president. Fuck it. Yeah.
Mr. Jackson, what should we do with the Native American holdouts? Round them up. You heard the man.
You heard.
He's the boss.
Yeah, parrot's going to be here long after me, man.
That's right. That bastard was probably through the Great Depression, the Coolidge administration.
This motherfucker's lived forever.
Isn't Jackson doesn't he routinely wind up on worst president lists?
Not worst president list. It depends on the list, right? Like, okay, just for example, and again, let's not debate this. There's going to be a day where some school books in Texas are going to show Donald Trump in a different light than the school books in, like, Southern California. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the Andrew Jackson equivalency. It's like there's going to be some people that say, like, oh, he did great things for this this fledgling empire in its infancy, and then there's going to be people who are like, no, he was like a genocidal maniac. He ignored presidential orders to stop fighting. He started his own battles, but they were all for America. Like, I think he single-handedly, like, correct me if I'm wrong, someone in the comment section, I think he, like, single-handedly secured Florida and, like, got it to where we could take it over as a state eventually. Like, because he just ignored presidential orders to, like, stop combat. And he was just like, didn't get the message.
Wait a minute. I saw a beep, beep, beep on the SOS message. The beep was attack, right?
Yes.
Got this in the Morse code.
So yeah, like he was a known curmudgeon. He talked a lot of shit. He's kind of a tough guy, and some people were afraid of him. So yeah, so some people think he was a terrible president. Some think he was a fine example.
What the pundits and historians fail to mention in the description of bad president is a shit-talking parrot. I mean, come on. Like, Alan Wright, I mean, that's got to be in the description.
I would think so. I mean, why wouldn't it be?
But I do know for certain that he did not stop fighting in Louisiana, and he won a battle, and that's basically what secured him his, like, reputation to become president.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big smudge on him is the Indian Removal Act. He was like,
Yes.
all right, let's Trail of Tears this thing.
Yeah. Could handle that a little more delicately.
Let's get you guys out of here. And by get you guys out of here, I mean march you forcibly across about 1,500 miles of very treacherous terrain. But yeah, it worked, I guess. And now we got Louisiana and Florida and Alabama and the Panhandle. So that's cool.
all of our most prized states.
all of our most successful, well-educated, prosperous states.
Pillars of health.
Hidden gems.
Yeah. Yeah. Zero health issues really down there. The founding youth is what the Spaniards thought it was, honestly. You know?
Hey, motherfuckers, let me tell you something. We got Talladega and Daytona. Kiss my balls.
I saw somebody, like, I was in a thread about Alabama, just a side note, and it was like two, like, like actual reasonable adults on Facebook talking political points about, like, the education standards in Alabama, and like somebody was like saying this about them, and somebody, but they were kind of cordial, and then some jackass was just like, "You shut your mouth, Roll Tide," and that was it. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, you can't. This is why we are where we are.
Yeah, Roll Tide is no longer just about Alabama football. It's a culture. It's just steamrolling, buddy.
Just ridiculous.
Well, speaking of presidents, did you know? Many people are aware that Ronald Reagan's first job was as a lifeguard. But did you know that over those 6 years, he saved 77 people from drowning?
That's the character Mitch in Baywatch is written after. It's written
basically
about Ronald Reagan.
What's crazy about that, I want to know where he was an actual lifeguard. Was it open water? Because that makes more sense if it's open water.
He's from California.
Yeah, but okay, but so I mean,
maybe it's just a really dangerous YMCA. You know, a lot of people running around the pool like they tell you not to.
I mean, but it was a different era, so it's like, gee, Paul, what's this liquidish stuff here? Should I dive in? And then just instantly start fucking trying to breathe it? I don't know. That 77 over 6 years seems like a lot. 'Cause it's more than 10 a year.
Yeah, and I was immediately going to poo-poo the idea that he was a lifeguard for 6 years. I was like, man, that's a long lifespan. Lifeguards don't, the shelf life of a lifeguard is pretty small, given what I know about lifeguards, which is nothing at all. But then you immediately stampeded over that with 77 lives saved. I don't know, man, maybe it's inhabited, maybe it's a big jellyfish area. People were getting stung and couldn't swim anymore. I don't know. It was just people couldn't swim better back then. It was the 30s, 40s.
Dude, we working at the radio down in basically right outside Ocean City. We do some events with the lifeguards around, and that's a lot of time in the sun. You're like, yeah, I'm 37 years old. They look like they were like 65, like the most jacked 65-year-old man you could see. Just fucking zinc on their nose and just wrinkles and melatonin all over their fucking body. Melanoma all over their fucking head.
Alan said it on a podcast like 2 or 3 years ago where he was just flabbergasted that white people got windburn. Y'all
can't be outside, man. Like, a period. It's just anything. Surprised rain doesn't hurt you.
If it moves fast, hurricane.
That's where white people are built. White people are built for wet and cold. That's our mojo.
That's true.
That's sad.
I don't know, man. Do you figure like some of these areas in Scotland? I've talked to a few of those people. They're miserable.
Yeah, they're miserable, but they're alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have weird moles and skin cancer. Gotcha.
No, I could just, and again, true story. I just remember like all the black kids at track, like at the beginning of the season, which is like when did track start? Like in March?
Like I think you start you start practice around like mid to late March, so it does overlap with the winter season. These are the people who are like competing in the state championships for like wrestling and basketball. But yeah,
all the white,
we'll call it.
All the white kids wearing their Daisy Duke shorts and their tank tops, just doing some high knees, and all the black kids are fucking up on the bleachers, huddled together under fucking down blankets. Like, I ain't built for this. I ain't built for this shit. Yeah, you're built to do the thing that you're going to do on that track, but you are not built for the downtime in between. That's for damn sure.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well,
77 lives. Ronald Reagan. Look it up.
Did you know? As St. Lawrence was roasted on a gridiron by the prefect of Rome, the legend says he cheerfully declared, quote, "I'm well done on this side, turn me over." From this, St. Lawrence derives his patronage of cooks, chefs, and comedians. So if you don't know what a gridiron is, it's basically like, it's like a spit. You put a person inside this thing like a cage, and they put you over top of a fire, and then they rotate you. And so he apparently screamed, "I'm done on this side. You can turn me now."
In the infamous words of Paris Hilton, sounds hot.
Yeah, but that enormous, tragic bullshit that guy had to fucking go through, and then he becomes that got him into he's the saint of comedians.
Yeah. Is that what the river is named after, or am I thinking someone else?
No, you're right, St. Lawrence River.
So.
Damn. All done on this side. Turn me over. Whew. Even after being burnt to a char, still had a funny bone in his body.
And I always like to remind people like how fucking barbaric and brutal the world used to be. Like every time everybody's like, "We live in the worst times ever." No, we don't. We don't openly put people on fucking open fires for like insulting kings and queens. At least on this side of the hemispheres, like we don't do that shit.
Man, there's probably still some people who wouldn't be opposed to it if it were to be brought back. Like, yeah, sure, yeah, man, put them in there.
President Jackson, what do you want to do with these guys? Put them on the gridiron.
Ralphie, what do you got? Fuck him.
It's almost offensive that they reference the gridiron in football, you know?
Yeah. I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. That's got it. I mean, that has to be the direct lineage of that term, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because they used to mow the fields in the gridiron pattern.
Gotcha. All right. That makes sense.
You folks got more fun facts for the day. Look at that.
Bam,
listeners.
And finally, did you know the Battle of Bull Run during the American Civil War was called the Picnic Battle because many of Washington's civilians and wealthy elite, including congressmen and their families, went on picnics on the sidelines and watched the battle.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's many fucking depictions of it, too. There's, like, paintings and fucking shit like that.
Yeah. What a picnic, you know? Some people enjoy woods. Some people enjoy the ocean. Some people enjoy tens of thousands of men getting maimed.
It's a literal fucking representation of rich people watching poor and middle class people fight their wars. Like, it's a literal fuck. Like, they were like, "All right, guys, go, kill each other. We're gonna sit over here and eat cheeses in suits because it's the 1800s. Like, fuck it, yeah. That's a literal representation of it. Of every war ever.
Georgie, Lucy, settle down now. You're going to miss the first volley.
yeah, basically.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine when like someone like spitting out the sandwich and someone like, yeah, that is disgusting out there. I was like, no, it's the ham. This is bad. Ugh. This isn't cured.
I think there were some people that were like, oh yeah, this is a lot. That we didn't think this through. There were like some spectators that were like, this is a bad decision, just throwing it out there, but they did it nonetheless.
So when do you think it started getting? Did it start getting phased out when these people started getting attacked?
I mean, was it though? I have a feeling.
Thinking like maybe or taken as hostages or prisoners. You have to figure at some point they were like, well, no, we're just enjoying our ham sandwiches, kind
You're
of.
trying. Listen, this is the thing. This is the problem. I agree with what you're saying, but the problem with your logic is like you're talking about battles where people literally stood like NFL linemen in front of each other, pointed rifles with black powder and like 1 pound musket balls at each other, and just stood there and fucking took it until no one was standing anymore. There wasn't a whole lot of thought process, I think, going on with what they were doing back during those days.
Come on, these are infantrymen, all right? Have some respect. These weren't targets.
Basically, they were like, what's war like? And then progressively, as they witnessed war unfold, they were like, this isn't a spectator thing. We should probably dial this back. Basically, that's how it happened. And like, the more it impacted them, like they were like, all right, guys, let's go to this open field. Like, it's like we signed up for a softball league and two groups of grown men just met in a field and we're like, hey, let's play some softball. Like, that's what happened. And then slowly over the course of the war, we started moving into cities. Those civilians' homes were either taken and used to quarter soldiers, or they were pretty much just locked up in them and not going anywhere. So yeah, once it got to that point, they were like, you know what, this isn't as cool anymore. This isn't as fun to watch.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But they did it, and it was fun.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If that were happening in my backyard, I might
check it out.
I might park on the porch and grab a few Coors Lights to see what's going down.
Like, damn, that's wild.
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
Thank you, Murr, and folks, we'll be back with Before You Go. All right, party people. When I say middle, you say class holes middle. Wait, what the fuck? Hey, folks, due to some technical difficulties, we're going to bring you this week in Class Holes history on a Before You Go. We take you back to 2020 when we talked about a Delaware tradition known as pumpkin chucking, and when Murr, who worked as a DJ in a local radio station, covered the event many times, and actually was at the last event when someone unfortunately passed away. The event has been canceled, but join us next week on the Middle Class Holes. You can find us on all your social media platforms at the Middle Class Holes or MDL Class Holes on Instagram. This is Fox Man telling you, take care. We'll see you next week. Now, did you ever did you ever cover pumpkin chucking? Because I heard from the Salisbury constituents that's a big hoedown or hootenanny, depending upon where you're from.
That is the hootiness of hootenannies, and I was at the last pumpkin chunkin', the one where the lady got like violently maimed by an exploding air cannon.
Wait, whoa!
I didn't. It's no longer a thing, right? Pumpkin chunkin'.
Correct. Pumpkin chunkin' is officially no more.
They killed a lady.
And that's the last one I was at.
Wait, so
so what happened?
I'm aware of the event. I did not know that it ceased to exist. I just assumed it may have been. But if you were to ask me, I would assume it's one of those things that it was just too much fun. Like every other thing that happens where there's too much fun, too much boozing, too many drugs, too many titties. That like, nope, not doing it anymore. But someone lost a life.
Yeah.
Pumpkin Chunkin' is the next Tiger King docuseries that has not been made yet. Pumpkin Chunkin' started out with a bunch of rednecks who decided they were going to put together some of those old-fashioned medieval trebuchets in their backyard and see how far they could fling them. And it's, slower, lower, Sussex County, Delaware. And so somebody had a big old hunk and chunk of land. And they started doing this thing, and then people started showing up, and they're like, hey, fuck yeah, we can have ourselves a nice rootin' tootin' party out here. And then it got too big for that piece of land. So they started renting out the fairgrounds in, is it in Harrington? Yeah, in Harrington. And then people were like, well, fuck these trebuchets. I bet I can get me about 20,000 pounds of pressure in this old school bus I made airtight. Let's just strap a valve on it. Put a 50-foot cannon on there, shove a pumpkin in, see how far she goes.
Just fucking make a fucking potato cannon.
And
pumpkins.
Every year it came down to something like, hey, man, don't your cousin work at NASA? Get his ass out of here. Show him design something.
So the last Pumpkin Chunkin', there was a team from Japan there. The Discovery Channel was there doing all their side little shoots, getting interviews and stuff. Because Mythbusters was coming in, and Jamie's the walrus guy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Jamie and Adam, they weren't there. They had their surrogates out there doing all the interviews, and then they were going to, attach their faces and voices in at a later date. And, that day, one of the cannons was a little overpressurized, and a piece of metal, it exploded, and a piece of metal flew off, hit some chick in the head, and that pretty much ended everything.
Wes's face on the abrupt turn. Everything was just so fun until the Discovery Channel was there. Fucking pumpkins were being chunked.
It was, man. I mean, it's like a good time until someone. I hate to kid about it, but it's a good time until someone, some jackass who isn't an engineer straps on, what'd you call it, a 200-pound pressurized
school bus.
Basically, just a fucking crock pot. Retrofitted to fucking.
No, these things were huge, man. I would Google some images of Pumpkin Chunkin' cannons, and these things. Okay, the Big Bertha gun that they have on display. I can't remember where it is, but it was like that World War II train car with
the bunker buster. There's one they smashed old Belgian forts from the. That were they just blasted into them. Yeah, it was ridiculous. They were exactly as they were designed to smash giant heaps of concrete.
And so that is roughly the size of the Pumpkin Chunkin' world record holders, which, by the way, would shoot a pumpkin a mile.
God, can you imagine being on the other end waiting? All right, we got to see where this pumpkin hits. Mark it off.
The guys, this is one of those things where a good thing gone bad. The people that would come to Pumpkin Chunkin' would raise their own pumpkins that would basically, because you know how you open up a pumpkin and it's all gooey and it's got the seeds inside. They would genetically modify their pumpkins so they were pretty much solid all the way through.
Fleshy Jones, yeah.
So that they could launch these fuckers a mile.
That's right.
Pressure at the genetically modified pumpkins and a good waste of ingenuity to launch that fucker a mile. Now, were there any successful, because I've seen some on different things, not necessarily because I never attended one of these. I've seen videos, but some of the big catapult style ones where it kind of flips it over 180 and
those are trebuchet joints.
Yeah, I mean, are those just medieval compared to the goddamn futuristic shit that you were seeing?
Yeah, it's funny that those were the things that kicked off Pumpkin Chunkin'. That was the heritage of Pumpkin Chunkin', and it was like when you go to the fair and then they've got the different games that you can play, and those ended up being the little squirt gun, pop the balloon kind of oh, look at that, how cute are those things? And people would stare at them for about 30 seconds and watch one go and be like, oh, okay, and then they just wipe the fucking drool off their chin and then walk over to the Big Bertha machines and you couldn't even see the pumpkins leave. You just saw a big puff of air, and then a bunch of people go, woo, and shot a Patron.
Oh, so yeah. Let's recap. What became of you that day?
Well, that day I was fine. We hated it. It was supposed, it's supposed to be this big. It's basically like the Preakness of Southern Delaware, and because I was working, I was basically they didn't need us anymore to promote the thing because it was so big. So we'd get there and we'd have this big radio station van, and they'd be like, yeah, you could just park it in the field over there. And literally, you would just drive it into the middle of a freshly plowed cornfield with the stalks like sticking up about a foot out of the ground. And we would just stand in the wind and like shield each other just enough to be able to do like the live broadcast and throw it back to the station and then freeze our asses off. We couldn't really drink because we had to we were working. And then, we would just kind of, laugh at all the fodder that was to be presented around us.
So it didn't even cease to exist because of too much of a good time. Like I would have guessed, like Canal Day in Chesapeake City ceased to exist because too many titties, too many booze, too many drunks, doing God knows what in the water, peeing, pooping, fornicating, shindig, too much of a good time. Actually, that was a bit of an insurance heist. I don't know if you were aware of that. They worked the system.
Well, that is kind of where it was headed anyway, because like the year before, like the guy who ran it was like, we ain't doing it no more. They want to charge me too many fees for insurance and this and that and this. And then a bunch of people raised a bunch of money to be able to help him like pay for the insurance. And then that year, the year they saved Punkin Chunkin', the Punkin Chunker explodes and kills a lady. So like it's so funny because the exact reason the government wanted to shut it down is the exact reason that it ended.
Maybe that's I don't know what to say. I mean, that God rest the soul of the woman who passed away. That's tragic. I can't imagine if I was a family member, I would have moving people back 50 yards save a life, or how close were these people?
This thing was launching a pumpkin, a standard mile.
Yeah.
So I don't think it mattered exactly where you put the people when the pressurized school bus exploded. It's your guess as good as anybody else's where that little chunk of metal is going to land. I mean, it's like you're in outer space. A grain of sand hits you, you're done. So, I mean, it didn't really matter where you were. If it hit you, you're not making it out alive.
Pressurized school bus.
Could you engineer such a thing, Alan?
I mean, I would, but it seems risky. I'd go trebuchet style. I just prefer it. It's classier, I think.
I agree.
When you get down to it, like it's like air cannon's like the steroid era of Punkin Chunkin'. Like, meh, give me a good old trebuchet. You know what I mean? I want guys hitting fucking 12 dingers and winning home run titles.
I would say out of the 1,000 people walking around the campground, like maybe 50 of them are on the cannons, so they care about the pumpkins, and then about 30 other people gave a shit about the pumpkins. Everybody else just wanted to use their fare tickets for the rock wall, drink as many Budweisers as they could, and just have a fun time just slopping it up in a field somewhere.
Right.
They didn't need the pumpkin chunkers anymore, so they could have just done the trebuchets and no one would have died.
Yeah, they got the shit suit out of them. That's why they stopped.